Well, federal investigators are looking into messages sent to voters near Gainesville. Democratic voters in Alachua County are among those in the country who received messages threatening to come after them unless they vote for President Trump. The messages say they are from the far-right group called the Proud Boys. Questions are now being raised about the origin of these emails amid concerns about voter intimidation.
Right now, the host of Facing South Florida, Jim DeFede, is joining us. And Jim, what do we know about these emails?
So let's walk through it, just sort of go through a little bit. Let's show one of those emails that have been sent out. I think we can put that up on screen, and I'll read you a little portion of it. You will vote for Trump on Election Day, or we will come after you. The email says, we will know which candidate you voted for. I would take this seriously if I were you. Now, this type of threat is something that's taken care of very seriously, obviously. What we know about this email is that it was sent to voters in at least 3 states, Florida and Alaska being 2 of them. Now, a CBS News analysis of this email, you're able to sort of determine where exactly the email may have originated from. So we know that the email came from servers in Saudi Arabia and Estonia. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that individuals in Saudi Arabia or Estonia sent the emails. It simply suggests that someone who was routing it to voters here in Florida and other states were being very sophisticated, trying to hide their trail. Now, as you said, this does purport to come from the Proud Boys, but even federal officials are wary of that. It may more be along the line of that Proud Boy folks were in the news recently, as we all know, and that people may just be latching on to that.
Well, Jim, you actually spoke with the head of the Proud Boys, and they say they have nothing to do with the emails. So what are authorities saying?
No, you're absolutely right. I spoke last night to Enrique Torrio, who is the international head of the Proud Boys. He not only denied that this is taking place, he hopes that whoever is responsible is sent to prison, and in a sort of a semi-humorous note, suggested that this was giving his group a bad reputation, even though it is classified as a hate group by some. Now, you're right. Federal authorities are issuing warnings as regards to this. The FBI issued a statement, and I also have a statement now from Homeland Security. I want to put that up on screen so you can see it. While we are looking into the emails, we can tell you this: your vote is secret. These emails are meant to intimidate and undermine American voters' confidence in our elections. Don't fall for sensational and unverified claims. And that seems to be really what's at root here, is more sowing discontent as opposed to direct voter intimidation. Whether or not a campaign like this, and I'll be honest with you, I think most people who would have gotten this email, it would have ended up in their spam folder. But I think the idea is to create this sort of disconnect between voters and this concern, play into the fears of voter intimidation, which are very real.
Well, Jim, should voters be concerned that their personal information is potentially compromised?
Authorities say absolutely not. Now, there is public information when you register to vote. There is certain details as to exactly, for instance, if you register as a Democrat, I can know that who registers as Democrats, who registers as Republicans, who registers as NPAs. But the core mission, the idea of who you voted for, that vote is secret. No one has access to that. So any idea that you could be found out and threatened as a result of who you voted for is simply not true. Federal officials assure it, and they say that it's just not going to happen. Now, one thing I would say is that if anyone receives this type of information or any type of perceived threat, they should report it to either local police or probably better to start with the local supervisor of elections, and they have contacts in both the federal agencies and the state agencies that can handle these types of claims.
Yeah, it's causing confusion and fear with a lot of people. Jim, thank you very much for joining us.
Now, keep in mind, you do still have a few days to request a mail-in ballot. The deadline to do that is Saturday. And for voter resources and continuing coverage of everything leading up to Election Day, just head to cbsmiami.com/campaign2020.